not picking out up now and then.
Stop. You know, move your box over. Okay, in this video we're fitting parking sensors to a Mark II Skoda Fabia. This is without removing the bumper. So here you can see I've drilled the first hole and I'm inserting the first sensor. The part on the back of the sensor, the letters are UP for up, so obviously that's the way the sensor goes into the bumper. And here you can see I'm just using a file and I'm just tidying up the hole in the bumper just to aid fitment of the sensor. When I'm inserting these sensors, these are quite tight. You do want them to be tight just to help keep water out, but as you can see here, I'm just using a flat blade screwdriver just to push in the rubber tabs just to help the sensor pop in properly and sit into the bumper flush. What I also did off camera is just get a small little knife and just cut any excess that come out around the edge of the sensor as well. So onto the next sensor on the passenger side. As you can see, I'm steady Eddie here, just drilling into the bumper, letting the drill do all the work and the hole saw do all the work, and feeding the wire through. The hole saw comes with the parking sensor kit as well, so it's the right size that you need, and it just screws into a basic drill. Just tidying up the hole there again and inserting the sensor, making sure that the up is in the up position. With these sensors as well, when you press the sensors in, it's important to press on the outside of the sensor, not in the center, just to prevent damage to the sensor itself. Onto the next sensor as well. The bumper looks a bit faded here. This bumper's had someone's rattle canned it previously, so it does look a little bit dull. But that's not what we're here to do. We're here just to fit park sensors. So that's the next hole. And again, exactly the same for the next two sensors. So here we're moving on to the interior. I'm going to start removing the near side rear light. So there's a flat blade screwdriver on that screw. Take the screw out and then you just unscrew the plugs for the bulbs, or the bulb holders, sorry, and then the light will just withdraw. So onto the interior, I need to remove this panel on the near side rear. So there's various Torx screws throughout the car. Some are T20, some are T25 and one's T30. I'm not sure why, they're all different sizes, but most of them are T20s. And here I'm moving this rear panel, or the rear lower panel. There are two 10mm plastic nuts at the bottom to be removed. It would have helped if it had taken all the rubbish out of the boot, but there you go. And two more T20 Torx screws either side to come off there as well. Just taking this panel off here, so I'm going to take the rubber off first. This just pulls off as so, just halfway around so it clears the plastic. And then I'm removing the plastic trims. These just pop off. And another T20 screw there. Be careful when you're removing trims not to damage anything. I tend to find with VAG cars the trims tend to be quite tough and durable. Here this one's a T30 screw. This is behind a little plastic cover which just pops off. You can see that hanging down there. A ratchet and a socket would have been easier here, and a magnet, but I didn't go and get one. I just carried on using these little T-bar handle things which seem to work okay. They're just a little bit slower, to be honest. So I'm just taking that T30 out there. And you can see I've removed the trim from the door as well, off camera, just so it'll clear the trim as well. And then this sort of pulls outwards and down. There's two hooks at the top, which you'll see in a second when I pull it out. There we go. And then this trim should then just bend back just enough for me to get access to this side of the car and unplug the boot wiring plug there. So here we're going to start pulling the wires through from the parking sensors. You really need two people here to do this. So that's Steve's hand there, cameraman Steve's hand there. And I'm out of shot underneath the car, passing the wires through while Steve's pulling them up. Without two people, you will need to take the bumper off. It's impossible to do this with one person. And then I'm just feeding the wires through the hole there to plug into the module. You'll see later on that I made a mistake there. I should have put these through the rubber grommet first, which I'll go back and correct. So I'm just organising the wires, plugging them in, and at the end what I'll do is I'll cable tie everything up, make it nice and neat. And here's the buzzer. This just makes a little beep, 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 beep noise. So just unwinding this one and plugging this one in as well. And I'm just feeding the wire through that hole there. I don't want to drill another hole for a wire. I don't like drilling into plastics. And that's where I'm going to mount the buzzer, so it can go inside the boot compartment and be a little bit quieter. Here is the plug for the module. This is the red wire for the live and the black for the ground. So I'm just plugging this in now. And there's a bit of double-sided sticky tape that comes with it in the kit. I'm just blowing off the dust on the back of the module, and then I'll put the sticky pad on there as so. Some wire strippers here. I'm peeling the power and ground cables apart, and then I'm going to strip the ends of the wire. So that's the red one for the live. Strip that one apart. And then there's the black, which I'm going to strip apart. I'll just strip the ends off, should I say. And then what I'll do is I'll put a little eyelet on the end of that so it can go into a ground. So here I'm just sticking the module to the back of the trim, and here's where I've chosen for it to go, just there like that, out of the way of everything, nice and neat. It will be once I've cable tied everything else up and put the wires back. So this is what I was saying, the wires need to pass through this grommet, not to this side of it. That was a silly mistake, so I'm just drilling a hole in the grommet, and then I'll unplug the wires and pass them back through in a second. As so. And with the wiring at the back of the bumper from the park sensors, what I did off camera was I got all these together in a big bunch, cable tied them up, and then stuck them to the rear of the bumper out of the way. Ideally you would put some plastic loom tubing around them just to keep water out of them and damage, etc. But the actual plastic tubing is actually more expensive than the parkade module and sensors themselves. The whole parking sensor kit was £8.50 and the tubing was about £15, so it doesn't make sense really. I'd rather just fit them like that, and then if a wire breaks in a few years time, I'll just repair the wire or replace the whole thing. So that's the live cable, which I'm going to use a little spade connector into the live, and that's the ground there for the boot hook that I was talking about, which is a 13mm bolt. There we go, there's the ground on. I had to extend this actual ground wire, that's why it's wide to reach, and these are the little tapping spade connectors, which I'm going to tap the live from the park brake module or parkade module onto the live for the reverse line.
Okay, so I'll put the trims back, all the seals back where it needs to be. Put the little buzzer there with some double-sided tape. Here are the sensors fitted. Stick the car in reverse. The ignition on.
Okay, So that's it. The rest of the video is just a time lapse from what the other camera captured. So I hope you liked the video, hope it helped. If it did, please give us a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video.
When your reverse light comes on, when you select reverse, it sends 12 volts to your reverse light.
Yeah.
To light it up. So we'll put a ground on the module. What the fuck's that?
Oh, it's me, sorry.
Oh, God, I thought there were a car on fire.
Sorry,
We'll have to put that in the video. As you can see, my face panic there, thinking there's a car on fire.
Wait, it was just my brother vaping.